Howdy, Rebel fans. Welcome to episode 19 of the Rebel Nation Conversation. I am Rebelfan69. My co-host is the Themetalreb. Together we make up the Rebel Nation Conversation podcast team, your one-stop shop for uninformed and non-expert Ole Miss Rebel sports conversation.
Unsullied by sponsorship since 2025.
If you're watching us on the YouTube channel, guys, you already know where to be. But again, if you're catching us on the TikTok, be sure to put in that link right there you see flashing above us, and that'll take you to our YouTube channel. It's located at youtube.com/@the-RN-Convo. Metal, how things over in the metropolis of Columbia, Mississippi?
Man, just coming at you from a undisclosed location in the woods of Marion County today. And everything is just peachy, my friend. How about yourself?
Yeah, I had to get over here to the desert of West Texas, try to make the donuts for the family for a few weeks. But
Got you.
Anyway, well, we got kind of a busy show today. We're probably going to be, we're going to split it up, guys. Just so y'all know, we're going to split this up into two parts. So they'll both air tomorrow, but they'll come in two parts. Two episodes, basically. We'll start out with the big news of the week there, Metal. Trinidad Chambliss granted a preliminary injunction by the court on Thursday, February 12th. This injunction gives Trinidad his eligibility back for 2026, at least for the moment. There's a lot to unbox here on that. First off, your preliminary thoughts of it. Metal, what you got?
Well, just not surprised that he got the injunction. A little surprised that we were forced to do it that way. But, I don't think anybody, the biggest surprise out of the whole thing is just the venom from other fan bases over this. I mean, not surprised about the LSU reaction and the Mississippi State reaction. They have to be upset. They're supposed to be. But just kind of around the country, it's been a little bit surprising that the reaction has not really been positive.
Yeah, I agree. I don't get it. Because main thing here, guys, and that's one thing I need people to realize is he wasn't asking for a sixth. That's the thing you got to remember. He wasn't asking for a sixth year of eligibility. He's actually literally asking for his fourth year of playing.
Yeah.
And, everybody else has the ability to play 4 years, and because of medical reasons, he wasn't able to. It just wasn't. This was not the case. But you brought up a good point. To me, you did. When you said you were surprised we had to go that way, if you read the NCAA, I'm going to go ahead and skip down there to that part. If you read the NCAA statement, you kind of outline exactly why we had to go to this route. If you just know how to read between the lines. Their last sentence, I won't read the entire statement, but their last statement is the patchwork of state laws and inconsistent, conflicting court decisions make partnering with Congress essential to provide stability for current and future college athletes. And that tells me right there all I need to know. They need to put up the illusion of putting up a fight, knowing they're going to lose, so that they can now lobby Congress for legislation to stop this from happening in the future.
So you think it's just a dog and pony show,
Absolutely.
Listen, let me ask you something kind of to do with all of this, but we haven't really discussed it at all. What do you think about Joe Judge's comments?
Honestly, I haven't read enough of it. I didn't. I know something about sleep. Players needing to be able to sleep when they got newborns in the house, or the mothers needed to step up, or something like that. I don't know. He's getting raped because of cold. It's so much ado about nothing, and just like Tamper-gate's going to go away at some point.
It will. But boy, he's getting hammered for what he said, and the gist of it is, hey, listen, if you're a player and you've got a newborn baby, the message to the mother is, I ain't gonna help you. I ain't gonna be of no help. I got to play football. I got to get ready for the season. So you're on your own till football's over. And then he, came back and tried to undo it and clarify it and all of that. But boy, that's a little section there. I'm sure he wishes he could get back.
Yeah. Uh,
But
who knows where his
whatever.
mind was going during the entire process, man? I'm pretty sure that
Yeah,
whole day was pretty wild. You got to watch some of it. I watched a little bit of Dr. Dye's testimony, and then I drove into some bad signal area and just lost my all of my internet. And by the time I got it back, it was already recess for lunch.
yeah,
I just didn't try to get back in there. But me and you had
yeah.
texted during the process, and you said you were getting bits and pieces of it. But
Yeah, there was, I think overall, that there's another narrative out there that, hey, this is good for the sport of college football in 2026, having this guy come back, but it's problematic for the sport moving forward. And I can almost agree with that. It's you seem to think with the collective bargaining that a lot of issues are going to be cleared up,
well, I
including the
mean, step
eligibility
one.
issues. You got to start somewhere. You know,
Yeah, I think that's
you got
step
to
one
start.
to clear it up. I don't
Yeah,
think it'd be cleared up in step one, but I will say that I don't agree with it being bad for the sport moving forward, as long as it's applied to the medical red shirt, not just any player in the world wanting to just get 6 years to play four.
and that's
Uh,
that's the miss here with the general public. That's the miss. That's what they think happened. They think
yeah,
we just
that's
had
right.
a guy who just wanted to play football another year, and that's
Yeah,
not the
well,
case.
most of them are actually almost in their mind. They're mad because they think he's getting a fifth year of
Yeah,
playing time. He's not. He's getting a fourth
he's
year of
not
playing time. He's
correct.
get he's so it's yeah. The rule is 5 years to play four seasons. Well, because of an illness, he was not able to get his fourth year in there. He has lobbied for, petitioned for, and gotten an injunction till the hearing is done. The actual court case is heard, and he gets his fourth year. He's getting to play his fourth year, and so I'm not. I like to just let them blow up, and then I hit them with facts. And if they don't want to continue arguing, then I just back out of the argument because I'm not going to enter into argument with a bunch of fools that just they're it's like I don't want to make this a political show, but it's like all the Trump haters out there hating him just on principle,
Yeah,
you know, and that's I mean that's just and this kid's a good kid. I mean you've met him. Uh, he works with, and I say works with, I mean he works a crowd with small kids, around when they're out there, talks to them, takes pictures with them, signs their stuff. He ain't asking for money from them to do that. He enjoys it. He's a good kid.
yeah,
I'm happy. I could take my red and blue goggles off, and I think I still have to be happy for this kid getting
yeah.
that opportunity.
Well, it's nice to see something happen for one of the good guys in the game. You know, there's a word
Uh,
that you have used a lot throughout this whole situation called precedent. And I read an article after the injunction was granted. I believe it was on CBS Sport, and their angle was you can split it, you can dissect it however you want, but this has set a precedent. And that's why
well,
they're thinking it's going to be problematic moving forward.
I think it has I think it set a precedent, but I think it set a good precedent for the medical red shirt. Not just
Yeah.
someone asking for a sixth year because they want to play another year, but a medical red shirt. Yeah, I have no problem if there's some documented medical reasons for it. I'm good for it. Now I will say this: I think me and you made a mistake that day. I haven't went and researched it much more, but I think I've been listening to a few other podcasts this week. The Joey Aguilar thing, he actually was JUCO. Is what I think I got from that. Now, I may have misheard what I heard because I was driving, and all that, and I just hadn't had an opportunity to go back. But we all thought he was D2. I think he was actually JUCO, though. So he should be able to fall under that Pavia rule. I still haven't seen the ruling from Friday's hearing on that. I know they tabled it, but it being Friday, I'm sure we won't hear nothing until it's Monday.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
all right.
one more thing. Going back into the ruling itself or the injunction itself, there was a moment that happened, and I happened to be watching this live where I felt like it was kind of the tide turning moment. Like if there was ever any danger for Ole Miss fans that this thing wasn't going to get done, I think all doubt was erased when Chambliss and the judge had an exchange about 2022. Because what the NCAA kept saying was he practiced without issue in 2022. Practiced without issue in 2022. He says that he complained to the trainers and team doctors um, multiple times that, there were still issues and it didn't feel right, that he had lingering, what was it, tonsillitis or whatever it was. And so finally the judge says, you don't believe you could have played football in 2022. And Chambliss said, no, sir. So the judge said again, he said, so you never played a down in 2022. And he said, not one down.
Well, hey, we
That's
got
when I
players.
knew the judge, there was no way on earth he was not going to grant the injunction at that moment.
There was no. Here's another thing. Players that are injured practice. They practice all the time,
But what does
but they're
practice
not.
mean?
They're not. Well, I mean, they can get out there and they can do workouts with the team, but like, say somebody with a hamstring, they can't go, they can't play, but they can go through their workouts. They've got to try to get stronger and heal the deal up, so they can actually get out there and practice. But if they can't play, they're incapacitated. They can't play.
That's
They
what I'm
can't do.
saying. What does practice mean? Practice can
I
mean
know
he tossed a few footballs.
exactly. I tossed a few, but I didn't run because I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
Grade 3 tonsillitis was what was when I looked into it. I was told that by a doctor that grade 3 meant 50% or greater blockage in the throat.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, yes, that's hard to breathe. But
Yeah.
going back to where we started earlier about why I said I 100% believe they were putting on a show. The NCAA was making us fight and making us put on a show because, again, they can now go to Congress and say, look, we got all these rules. We try to enforce them, but we keep getting beat in in court. So we need some help from the federal government on this, and I think that's all this was. Because here's the key deal: they didn't call a single witness. If they were truly
Not
fighting
one.
this damn thing, why didn't they bring somebody? Does that make, or if they didn't call a doctor to rebut Dr. Ford Dye, does that mean they couldn't find a doctor that would go against his finding? Or does that mean they really weren't trying to fight? I tend to believe it's that other way around. I just do. They wisely, now this was a wise decision. They didn't question Trinidad's mother. I don't think he could have scored any points off of doing so.
What do
But
you think about them leaving during recess?
that was my next thing. They left during a recess, and recess don't mean we're adjourned. They know these are attorneys. I mean, these guys know exactly what the term recess means. Now, I did hear that the judge did say y'all can stay if you want to, or you can leave, but he wasn't addressing the officers of the court. He was addressing the members of the media and the people that were there in the gallery. So y'all can hang out. I don't know when I'm coming back, but if we're in recess, the officers of the court have to stay. Um, I just don't think they knew they done put on their show. They knew what they needed to do, and I don't think a contempt charge will be coming down for them. But
No, I don't either. Well, what do you think
it's
about the
not a good look.
judge's 90-minute answer?
Well, you know what that was about. Uh, he had to be thorough in delivering his decision. He had to have it lined out there because if they do decide to appeal, this. All right, here's the thing on the appeal, and this is going to tie right into that. The NCAA at this point in time has 21 days to file for permission to appeal to the Mississippi Supreme Court. They're not just they're not automatically granted the right. They have to petition for permission to file an appeal. And in doing so, the Mississippi Supreme Court's going to look at the way that decision, and they're going to have to say it was just a gross biased misjustice. He didn't apply the law, and then they'll grant him the opportunity to be heard on appeal. And they ain't no way the way he lined it out, he was pretty much showing this is the basis of law in which I am using. He done that absolutely on purpose because he didn't want his decision to be.
Yeah,
As he knew it was getting scrutinized, so he had to be thorough with that.
yeah. That was a CYA from old Judge
Yeah,
Whitwell.
yeah, exactly. I 100% believe that. Um, but I've heard conflicting decisions on. I've heard one podcaster that we've probably both listened to many a time say that they think that the NCAA will appeal it, and then I've heard just as many other podcasters and everything say they don't see the need in it because they've done put on their show. They done what they've tried to accomplish. They've gotten it done. They knew they were going to lose. They knew they were going to lose, uh, but they still had to put on the illusion of trying to do it. So I will say this. I want to come out. I'll just keep talking about it for a minute. You was talking about the opposing fans. All right, one thing. All right, Alabama people. Right. All right, they keep wanting to bring this up and tie it in with the Bediaco case. Guys, man, that's so apples to bowling balls,
Yeah,
crab legs to raisins. I mean, this was a guy that had played out his that he had played. He left a year of eligibility, obviously at Alabama, but he entered the NBA draft. Got drafted to a team, but didn't make a roster. Got moved down to their farm system, the G League. Played in several games, just couldn't get playing time, couldn't cut it. And now he wants to go back and play college ball. That don't sound like a medical red shirt to me. We're talking
no.
little crab legs to raisins now. Um,
Yeah, it's a different galaxy.
just totally not the deal. And like I said at the get go, Trinidad wasn't looking for a sixth year of eligibility. He was looking for a sixth year to be able to play his fourth season.
Yeah,
All right. And from the get go, they're allowed 5 years to play six, unless you get injured. There's been players get medical red shirts all the time. So again, LSU and Mississippi State, I 100% agree with you. They're supposed to hate this decision.
yeah.
Uh, and our friend over there he come from originally from your part of the world, but uh, I can't even imagine how he looks. What's a good word we could politically correct say how he appears on this show? And I hate to
Almost.
sound like we, yeah,
I don't know.
he unbathed. I mean, uh, this guy, he's just having a pure meltdown. But at least we know we'll get a couple 15-yard penalties next year for delay of game. But anyway,
Well,
we know they're
good
big. We know
men
they're big mad.
have to
Yeah,
stand up and take a stand.
exactly. Well, any closing statements there on the counselor? You got
No,
any
not
closing
really.
statements on the court case?
Something else I thought pretty interesting was one of the guys on the board claimed that the NCAA tournament was an Ole Miss season ticket holder. And you didn't see that?
That one of
The
oh
claim was that the NCAA attorney, I
yeah, I
think his
did
name,
see that.
yeah, Doug
His
Miner.
firm though, but you know our mutual pal there. I'm not going to mention his name, but let's just call him Buddy. Um, Came on there and he says he wasn't a season ticket holder. His firm held season tickets in which he used. Now, I mean, an attorney
Yeah,
in the state of Mississippi, or let's just say Memphis South, there's very few that are not going to have went to Ole Miss Law School.
yeah.
Some will be Tulane educated. Some of them may have the Memphis law, but I'd
I
say
thought the
probably
firm was out of
90%.
Atlanta.
Well, it was, but they were hired. These guys, I think, were out of Memphis, and they were hired by their firm to be. They're not in-house counsel, you know, but they may have
Yeah,
been Atlanta. I don't. I didn't pay much attention to it, but I do. I do think they were Ole Miss grads. I know that one was a Jackson. His firm. He was a partner at one time to a Jackson law firm that held season tickets. The firm held season tickets,
yeah.
in which he probably used plenty times, but he wasn't buying them. So it's much ado about nothing. It was absolutely it was no conflict of interest. But again, uh, yeah, and that's another thing, guys. Man, these people out there trying to say that it was just home cooking with the judge. You okay there, bud?
Yeah, yeah, I'm good.
It was home cooking with the judge. Man, that's just they didn't watch it. Number one, they didn't watch it. I mean, I just at one time. I mean, the NCAA wasn't trying to make their case. And with what was presented to Judge Whitwell, he made pretty much the only decision he could make.
Yeah.
And he's got a stellar reputation, and the man would not have allowed that to go the wayside just so a kid could play football. He wouldn't have done that. No judge would do that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Not at this point in his career. You know, he don't want. He wouldn't have wanted that to be a blight on his career. You know, after decades of doing the right thing, I can't
Yeah,
see it.
me neither. Well, if that's it for Trinidad, let's roll on into my next little deal here. Yes, let's talk about Tamper-gate. No, Rebel fan 69 fitting to kind of climb up on top of a soapbox. Metal, if you'll give me a few minutes of latitude to
The floor is yours,
do-
Senator.
dominate the airwaves. I want to touch on this quickly. It's something I kind of wrote this down, so I'm going to be kind of looking off screen for a minute. But uh, the disclaimer I want to put on this is I'm not reporting this, okay? I'm not trying to act like I'm breaking some news to you guys. Tyler Siskey, Metal, you know I follow Tyler pretty closely. I watch a lot of his podcasts and watch a lot of his live streams. Tyler Siskey's been saying this for months, okay? But it's not something we've covered here ever in a podcast, and there's a possibility we may have a listener here that don't follow Tyler Siskey or McCready and Siskey podcasts. So I just wanted to, let's mention it here. Okay, so that's my disclaimer. I'm not reporting this. This ain't coming from me, but this is absolutely the truth. Everyone right now is saying that the transfer portal is closed. All right, and they would be correct that the portal itself is closed. But if a player wanted to transfer right now, they can still do it. And they can do this by a use of a loophole that the NCAA has left in here that I believe at some point is going to have to be addressed, and I believe it would be part of the being addressed by CBA at some point. But that's something we're going to have to find out in due time. But let's say that there is a player at School A, and as a way to pay homage to one of my favorite all-time sports writers and authors out there, Mr. Dan Jenkins, I'm going to call this player at School A Tonsillitis Johnson. And now Tonsillitis Johnson is a stud running back at School A, and if he wants to transfer to School B, and the portal is closed, all Tonsillitis Johnson has to do is wait until May and unenroll at School A, and then re-enroll at School B. At which time, The football coach at school B comes up and offers Tonsillitis a really nice revenue sharing package, and along with some lucrative NIL opportunities. Now, if he was just to play, all he had to do is just go play football for school, for the school B Tigers. Right? Now, this is legal. It can happen. Right? Now, I said, well, I was going to tie this into Tamper-gate, and I will. Do you think for a second that Tonsillitis left school A without already knowing that he had a roster spot, a rev share agreement, and a lucrative NIL opportunities at school B? Now, he knew, and he knew because of tampering. Right? Ain't no doubt about it. He knew because of tampering. So to come full circle, I'm going to again say that Luke Farrelly was not sitting in class one day over there at UC Berkeley and just all of a sudden decided he wanted to go enter the portal and so he could go to Clemson, South Carolina and play for the Clemson Tigers. Now, he knew he had a roster spot. He knew he had NIL opportunities and a possible rev share agreement. Now, I do not care if it was Dabo that made the offer to Farrelly or it was the water bottle coordinator. There is no way that any offer made to Farrelly did not come from Dabo without his full knowledge. All right? And to say that having a few coaches in between the head coach and the one actually doing the tampering is not cutting it with me. It just ain't. To say that going through an agent and not directly to the player, and otherwise texting the player instead of going through the agent, well, that in itself is just a distinction without a difference. To speak to the agent is speaking to the player. So tampering will be a part of the current landscape of college football until we get a CBA in place and can build some contracts up that have real teeth and real meaning with non-competes tied into them. And that's my soapbox rant for the day. I wanted to just give that out there, and now I want to yield the floor to the Metal Rep. What are your thoughts on what I just went over?
Well, so basically what you're saying is Dabo or somebody over there did the same thing he's mad about that we did.
Exactly. And the reason I tied it in with what Tyler Siskey's been reporting is that the transfer portal is never really truly closed until they close that loophole. All the kid's got to do is just un-enroll and then re-enroll where he wants to go. He's no longer a student over at School A. And then the coach, but he would never do that unless he already knew. No player's going to do that. Did he not have any kind of a deal whatsoever at Berkeley?
He did.
He had some kind of deal he was getting at Cal as a Cal Bear. I mean, it may not have been, but I guarantee it was a better opportunity at Clemson, or he wouldn't have went there. You don't go all the way across the whole United States. You know,
he literally went from coast to coast,
to coast to play for a coach that hadn't won anything hadn't won more than 7 games since COVID.
Yeah,
in the NIL and transfer portal era, has not won more than 7 games. He's still a good coach. I still believe Dabo Swinney knows football.
Yeah,
but he's just trying to play by a different set of rules, and he's mad about it because he's not able to do it and compete. But I just wanted to bring to a fact of what Tyler's been saying for a long time. And with everybody out there thinking that the portal's closed means it's over, it ain't. But I wanted to tie it into Tamper-gate because no player is going to just transfer without knowing. They know.
Yeah.
You don't see players enter a portal. You don't see players, even when the portal's open, you don't see them go into that portal and stay in that somebody's 3 weeks while they make a decision. You know, normally they enter the portal and about 2 days later they on a roster. They may visit 2 schools it's after, but they knew both schools were interested. That's why they went to them.
Yeah.
They went
Now,
there for one reason. Let's look at the actual numbers, right?
I
Simple.
do think that the exceptions to that rule are kids that um, the school told them, "Hey, buddy, why don't you get in that portal and look around?"
Some of them may have, but those are some of them kids that you've seen that stay in there for a couple of weeks. But those people that are like that, they ain't being tampered with. So they're never going to be in
Exactly.
the news. They're not going to be in.
Exactly. They ain't being tampered with because they're not highly sought after players for whatever reason. And
I honestly believe that's what I honestly believe that Ole Miss probably told Winnie Watkins. You might want to look around, but again, we brought this up last week. Not that Winnie Watkins was a bad receiver. He just wasn't going to get playing time at Ole Miss. He wasn't going to beat out anybody on the roster, and anybody we was trying to bring in, he wasn't going to beat them out for playing time.
yeah,
I don't think. So I feel like they was like, with full blessing, do you want to go? Let's go.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. I mean, it's possible. You know, when he did get time playing here as a freshman, um, again, we had this conversation last week, and everybody's going to say, "Well, you just saying that because he went to LSU." Well, that's fine. Believe what you want, but I never saw anything that just jumped off the screen to my eyes from Winnie Watkins. Like you've said, like you just said, he certainly wasn't better than the 4 or 5 guys in front of him.
I
And
don't think he's. Who do we take off the field? I brought that up last week. Who do we take off the field so Watkins can be on it? We're not taking Lee. We're not taking Striblin. We're not taking Harrison Wallace third off.
speaking of Lee, what you think he's thinking right now? Now that Trinidad
Thinking he,
trying his injunction,
I don't know. I'm thinking he's
anything?
hoping that they're going. I think if all he's really thinking that Austin learns how to not throw interceptions.
What do you
Again,
think
I'm not going
about?
down. I'm not going down Austin because obviously he was a good teammate here,
Yeah,
and again we've brought this up a couple. You did a couple podcasts back, and he's the exception to the rule where you
yes.
know I'm going to be happy for you. So I'm not doubting him, but I thought the whole thing with Lee was he was kind of waiting to see what happened. Um, I don't know.
Um, what do you think about the noise that Deuce Knight is not happy with the Trinidad news? Think it's just bull
I,
crap.
yeah, I'm hoping because I don't think that he was lied to. I think that from the get go, everybody was like, man, this is how this is going to go. Trinidad Chambliss will be QB1. I think we proceeded from day one that he was going to either win the appeal or get the injunction and be QB1, and still Deuce Knight signed to come play with us.
Well, that's the
We'll find out
first.
come May.
That was the first thing we were told. That Deuce Knight is happy with the package.
Being the backup. Chase
Yeah,
brought this up the other day. Chase on his solo Blue Sky Live that he done Friday morning. I watched it just to kind of get his recap of because he's all day Thursday and it was at the deal. I watched that one and he literally said Deuce Knight is absolutely happy. You know, being the backup. But we have a solid. I feel like we got a solid QB room too. You know, as long as Deuce Knight can
yeah.
be happy. But I'm just hoping, man. I mean, you can't put so much stuff. Let's see what happens in spring training. You know, they're going to have spring practices here coming up. And then, like that loophole that I just went over in May, he very well just might be the first one we see do it. you know. Uh,
Yeah.
but I think it's going to depend a lot. He's going to go through spring drills. He's going to see how he can measure up with that guy. I
If
think at
he
least that.
if he rolls out in May, then I'm going to really wonder what he was told.
Yeah, but I don't think it. For instance, excuse me, I don't think for 1 minute that he was told you're going to be the starter regardless of what happens with Trinidad
No,
Chambliss.
you wouldn't think so, man.
He was never told that. You'll
No.
never make me believe that. He might go on a Twitter rant and tell people that's what he was told, but that ain't
There ain't
what he
no
was told.
way. No, nobody's going to believe that.
So,
Hmm.
well, that's pretty much for this first part, huh? Let's wrap it up and we'll go into part two. Like I said, folks, that's pretty much what we have for this episode 19. If you like what we're putting out there, please like and subscribe and share us. Talk us up a little bit. As always, comment on our feeds. Let us know what you think we can do better, and let's get a little debate going if we can. For the Themetalreb and myself, I'd like to say until next time, howdy, Ripper fans.
Go to hell, LSU, and if there's a worse place, please go there.